Hey YouTube, Joeboy here. So, One Piece chapter 996 is out. If you haven't checked out that chapter yet, I suggest that you do so because I will be spoiling you. But now that you have, let's begin. Well guys, after a little bit of a lull in the 11 out of 10 chapters, Oda really didn't make us wait that long. This chapter was incredible. It was incredible. Every single scene sets up something amazing or is related to hype theories or expectations that I think everybody would love, for the most part. It's honestly so good, it's a little overwhelming. But I guess let's start this. We gotta start somewhere. Let's start this with something I think is easy for a lot of people to miss. That might be the best damn thing of the entire chapter. At the end of the chapter, Luffy, Sanji, and Jinbei have reached the top of the second floor and are just about to reach the third floor, which, by the way, the theory that Luffy reaches the top, and therefore Kaido, probably also Big Mom now, by the way, by chapter 1000, that theory is looking really good. But anyway, as they are climbing, about to get to the third floor, Sanji hears something. Someone is speaking, and then we get a conversation out of context, but who is speaking is not actually revealed. Based on everything that I know, I believe that it is stupidly likely that this person is not Black Maria, guys. It's Ivankov. The Revolutionary Army is here. That's the great low-key reveal at the end of this chapter. Soak it in, guys. I'll explain it. Alright, guys. Deep breath. So this is what we know. The person speaking loves to use hearts in their speech pattern. More importantly, though, we get to see this person's unique laugh. The translation that I have here is Nufufu. All major characters have a unique laugh. Maybe not all of them are revealed, but you can identify who it is based on the laugh. Oda knows this, he has used this trick before. On one hand, he keeps the person's identity secret, and on the other hand, hardcore fans get a chance to know who that person is. If you want to bother to research this or just remember, for you got that crazy memory. Ivankov's unique laugh is usually translated with an M, not an N. Fufu. But it can also be literally translated with an N. Fufu. I assume that the sounds here are very similar in Japanese. Now let's think, who could this actually be? As far as I know, there are just two options. Ivankov or Black Maria. Those are the only two people that make any sense whatsoever. Guys, what do you think is the likelihood that these two characters have essentially the very same unique laugh? That would be a troll of epic proportions. Oda certainly is capable, but I really don't think so. Logicking it out, I'm placing a heavy bet on Ivankov. It also makes sense for Sanji to react to Ivankov like we see in this chapter. Sanji was tormented by the Okama, he fears him. This look on his face could be fear. But Oda makes it very debatable and misleading by including a woman's scream. That's on purpose. Oda is being deceptive. He also wrote the laughter in katakana rather than hiragana, so we can't actually confirm for sure that it is Ivankov. Shout out to Twitter, by the way. I can't actually reply to any of your comments about this theory because I don't want to spoil people waiting for the official, but I am reading them. I think that I can make up some context for this last panel. My opinion, guys, take it for what it's worth. I think we are actually seeing, or heard, I guess, Ivankov transform someone into a woman. The scream is someone who has transformed. When Ivankov has done this in the past, the person screamed, "Kia!" afterwards. But the Kia here is really important because who would be making this sort of noise? Obviously, Ivankov's powers could also be Black Maria, the people that surround her. The thing that I do not know for sure is where Black Maria actually is in the castle. We know Luffy and Sanji are about to head up to the third floor. It's implied that this noise came from the third floor, but we know from beforehand that Black Maria was in the banquet hall inside the castle. What floor is this? I'm not too sure. That being said, even though I do not know, I believe the banquet hall is on the first floor, so Sanji couldn't have heard Black Maria. We'll obviously find out if I'm wrong here. What is said after this also has a certain Ivankov ring to it. Ivankov often pretends like he is struggling, not strong enough or whatever, and then he has a haha moment. This dialogue sort of suggests the same thing. Also, the translation that I read included "just kidding," which is Ivankov's thing. but the translation is being debated, but I assume that whoever actually wrote the translation itself seems to... I think that they're implying here that they think that the person is Ivankov as well. Overall, guys, if this is not Ivankov, I would be surprised. I don't want to get my expectations out of whack. It ends up being Black Maria, then it's the end of the world. I just think that's Ivankov, and then if it turns out to be Black Maria, we'll go back and we'll say, oh, well, c'est la vie. But I really don't think so. And in fact, we may have another hint within this chapter itself. There's a popular theory going around social media right now that the ship which brought Tama to Onigashima is a revolutionary ship. She called it an enemy ship in the chapter itself, and maybe she said this because the head of a revolutionary ship features a dragon. So she confused it as Kaido's ship, but it was the Revolutionary Army. I've seen people saying that the Revolutionary Army being here doesn't make any sense, and I just disagree strongly. I've speculated for years now that they would somehow find their way here. Oda has long set up a connection between the Revolutionary Army and Kaido. In Dressrosa, we see Sabo, Hack, and Koala follow a lead on weapons they have been chasing. Apparently, shady weapons are finding their way into conflicts that the Revolutionary Army is concerned about. And they're looking for the source of these weapons. They discover in Dressrosa Doflamingo dealing the weapons, but also learn that he isn't the one that is making them. We know now for sure that the people making the weapons are in fact Kaido and Orochi, which means that the people that the Revolutionary Army was looking for is Kaido and Orochi. For hundreds of chapters, Oda has been leading the story on this path for the Revolutionary Army to interact with Kaido and Wano. Now you may ask, why do they care about the weapons now? Why aren't they focused on Sabo, who was in the newspaper? Well guys, the Revolutionaries' endgame is to out the Celestial Dragons and world government on all of the shady shit that they have been doing. Well guys, the Revolutionary Army's endgame is to out the Celestial Dragons and world government on all the shady stuff that they have been doing. And even in Wano, we see CP0 approach Orochi, trying to deal the shady arms directly. Arms procured from a pirate. Then deal these arms to countries and wars that concern the Revolutionary Army. So following the leads and finding these weapons in Wano is part of the Revolutionary Army's plans. They can then connect the world government directly to pirates, buying weapons from pirates, supporting pirates, in order to bring them down. That is why they are here, and it may even behoove them to destroy these weapons factories, which would probably necessitate conflict against Kaido himself, meaning they weren't just planning on sneaking around. Now, why they decided to go to Onigashima and why they're already on the 3rd floor, I don't exactly know, but them being here has always been the plan, and you know that Luffy could use their help in the fight if they're here. This means that the end of the last 2 chapters have set up how the battle may eventually turn back into the Straw Hats' favor. Tama with their ability to tame Smile users in the last chapter, and now the potential presence of the Revolutionary Army. Anyway guys, I've been waiting on the Revolutionary Army for so long, and it's satisfying to have something very tangible here to believe in. This arc is going to be crazy. But this is all looking ahead a bit. As for the fight itself right now, it doesn't look good. We got a few panels of Kaido smashing the scabbards. That situation already looks like it's over, if we're honest. Meanwhile, Big Mom is back in town. Everyone's like, oh no, Big Mom. She's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna fight with you guys. My goal is the roof. So here's the debate with Big Mom right now. Is she going to the roof to stab Kaido in the back? Or is she going to stand in Luffy's way and get the revenge she had promised from the start that she would? Do you guys think that Big Mom would bother to stop Perospero from teaming up with Marco if she had planned to attack Kaido right now? It's so chaotic. Perospero could fight against the Beast Pirates and it wouldn't change anything. I mean, Kaido wouldn't even know. I think that if Big Mom plans on stabbing Kaido in the back right now, then she doesn't even bother with Perospero, lets him be, and then just does her thing. So I tend to think, guys, that she's going to the roof to be Luffy's enemy. This can be taken one of 2 or 3 ways. She does intend to stab Kaido in the back after her crew arrives, or immediately after she deals with Straw Hat Luffy. Essentially, she doesn't think that she needs them in order to fight the Beast Pirates and weaken them. She'll get to it after she's gotten her revenge against this punk, Or, she intends for this to be a somewhat long-term alliance with Kaido, so yes, she will stab Kaido in the back, but not here and now. Obviously, the betrayal is coming eventually, but the question is when? Either way for Luffy, it's not really going to matter. Because Big Mom is here, probably not as an ally. Big Mom probably intends to fight Luffy, so Luffy has to fight to Yonko. I'll take situations that don't look so good for 100. By the way, rest in peace, Alex Trebek. But I do want to mention, Big Mom coming to the roof, I think has really interesting implications for Zoro. Time after time, the past dozen or so chapters, Zoro has expressed his desire to get to the roof. Well, yeah, that seems very necessary now. I've seen people speculate Luffy fights Big Mom and Zoro fights Kaido. We could actually see this. In no world do I expect them both to win these fights, but we could see them. But yeah, let's change gears. Yamato's teeth in this chapter. Devil fruit, or is she a dragon? You guys already know what I think because I've already talked about this theory. I think that Kaido is a dragon. The real freaking deal. From the legends, the strongest creature alive is in fact what we would call a creature. He is not a human. Therefore, if Yamato really is his son, then Yamato should also be a dragon. That is how genes work. A dragon does not birth a human, as far as I know. But this kinda hinges on dragons being able to shapeshift into human form in the world of One Piece. This is present in many mythologies and lores, including Japan. In fact, many creatures in Japan's mythology can assume human form. It's really common. So both Kaido and Yamato are dragons who have the ability to transform into humans naturally. Another example of this that we've actually seen in Wano already is Onimaru the Fox. Kitsune in Japan being one of those mythological creatures that naturally has the ability to assume human form. So is Yamato a dragon? Is this the case? Well, you kind of gotta believe or not. Nothing is definitive if you want to disagree. Could Yamato have a sharp tooth zone devil fruit? You bet. Yamato could even theoretically have a different kind of dragon fruit. Oda does this with other creatures regarding zone devil fruits all the time. Eastern dragon maybe versus western dragon, a dragon for each cardinal direction if you want. But is it more likely than last week that Yamato is an actual dragon? Hell yeah. But you guys know what I think and you know what I want. Yamato having a devil fruit is awesome. I love devil fruits. But it still isn't anywhere close to the same as being a creature of legend, and what that would mean for Kaido as well, and what this means for the grand lore of the story itself, and the world government's interest in recreating dragons. You put a gun to my head, I wouldn't even need to think about it. Yamato is a real dragon, just like Kaido. You see Yamato taking all those hits, man, those are some good genes, I'm just saying. She's a brick, do 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 do. But just as interesting as Yamato's semi-transformation is everything else in this scene. Yamato told Momonosuke, "You absolutely have to survive. The person who will guide the world to its dawn is none other than you." Let that sink in. Alright, community speculation. Joy Boy is the one who will guide the world to its dawn. Momonosuke is Joy Boy. True or false? I think it's false. Joy Boy is incredibly likely to be Luffy based on a lot of context. Yamato believes Momonosuke is Joy Boy. True or false? Again, I think false. Yamato has read Oden's journal and I think strongly suspects, like we do, that Luffy is Joy Boy. So none of this is true. Why is it here? I talked to Revujo about this so he gets credit for how I word it. I think that there are 3, potentially 4 important characters who will guide the world to its dawn. I think Joy Boy, who's Luffy, is going to lead at least 2 others. 2 kings. The Sea Kings wait anxiously for the day that 2 kings meet. One of those being Shirahoshi, the other confirmed not being Luffy. I think that the other king is Momonosuke, who I guess is in line to be the king of Wano. They are both vital figures in this momentous event because they are both ancient weapons. Luffy being Joy Boy will use them. At the very least here, guys, you gotta admit, Yamato is suggesting that Momonosuke is really, really important. We have speculated for a long time he may be an ancient weapon, hinted at by the powers he demonstrated in Zou, powers that must also have existed sometime in the distant past, because only Momonosuke could break Zunisha's order of long ago. So in other words, someone gave her an unbreakable order long ago, somebody who had the same powers as Momonosuke. Momonosuke has inherited some kind of ancient ability. Sounds like an ancient weapon. For those who want to be rid of Momonosuke, you get wrecked. Yamato is putting him on the same level as Luffy in terms of endgame players. I want you all to prepare yourself for what I think is the likelihood that Momonosuke continues traveling with the Straw Hats after Wano. I guess while we're here, I've been saving this for a video, but I'll drop it here and now because you guys are my squad, and I know many people are going to like this theory, and this is a good time to speculate it. Who is going to be the next Nakama? Is it Momonosuke? Is it Yamato? Is it Carrot? Is it Tama? I think that you can make a strong argument. All of them come and join at the same time. Oden joined Roger's ship for the last leg of their journey, and he ended up being accompanied by 2 of his retainers and his wife. Momonosuke joins the Straw Hats and is accompanied by 2 of his retainers and his future wife. Also might be worth paralleling here that while on Roger's ship, Oden had 2 children, Momonosuke and Hiyori, and now we've sort of swapped out these 2 children for 2 children, Momonosuke and Tama. These 2 children also sort of paralleling the 2 cabin boys that traveled with Roger for most of their journey, Shanks and Buggy. So Oda has kinda condensed all of this, but the nod to it is here. Momo and Tama are both 8 years old. It doesn't take a genius to ship it. Tama also was promised by Ace to join his ship after she becomes an enchanting Kunoichi. After this battle, she may prove herself, and Luffy, carrying Ace's will let her join. Yamato and Carrot then act as retainers and bodyguards of Momonosuke. Yamato, who probably wants to follow in Oden's footsteps, and Carrot, who has inherited Pedro's dream, wants to play her part in bringing the dawn of the world. Everybody is happy, everybody wins, and everybody joins. I'll still make a video on this eventually, guys, but you get the gist. But back to Yamato and Momonosuke, they were saved by Frankie and by coincidence Hacha. Hacha! And as they fell through the ground, Oda leaves us with a Frankie Sasaki fight. I don't think that I ever talked about this on YouTube. I might have, but I don't think that I did. But I definitely did on Twitter. There was a very quiet theory about a month or 2 ago that Sasaki was the missing son of Kokoro from Water 7. Oda teased in an SBS Kokoro's son regarding a question about Chimney. Chimney is 25% fishman, mermaid. Kokoro's son was 50%. Where her son actually is, though, we don't know. He wasn't in Water 7 and seems to have abandoned Chimney for Kokoro to raise. If you look at Kokoro and Sasaki, there are some similarities, we might say. Hair color, general face. His hat looks like a train conductor's and is also similar to Kokoro's. Oda had a panel where they drink booze very similarly, and Sasaki looks like he could be 50% fishman. If this is true, a matchup with Frankie made a lot of sense, and now at the conclusion of this chapter, that matchup is actually happening, it seems. Take from it what you will. This fight would have a lot of power if Sasaki is Kokoro's son, and it may also help lead him to switching sides in this fight like a lot of people, including myself, feel will happen. I'm all about this. But yeah, finally we get a significant update on Law and Kid. Kid got a shit ton of metal, and you know that he's about to use it. Killer even hints it's for Kaido. Kid's probably working his way up to go fight Kaido. We all kind of envision the scene where all the Supernova and Luffy, maybe Zoro, fight against Kaido. That seems like it's happening. No great surprise here, but definitely what we want. More interesting though is Law, who has found a poneglyph and is thinking about the initial D. Woo 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 woo! Trigger warning in effect. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Why is Law looking for a poneglyph now of all times? If you thought you were beating Kaido. Beat Kaido, you can stroll down there when you damn well please. He's planning on beating Kaido, right? So what is the purpose of looking for the poneglyph now? And why did he not discuss this with the Straw Hats earlier? Guys, I think that this chapter is subtly suggesting otherwise. Prepare yourselves. Guys, I think that this chapter is subtly suggesting that maybe Law isn't planning on beating Kaido, or that he's intending on severing the alliance after this battle, which is what he said would be the case from the very start. Prepare yourselves, people. Law may in fact be using the Straw Hats to get what he wants. I cannot think of another reason to be down there right now. Law's a rational guy. He operates based on facts and logic, not faith. There are two Yonko here. I don't think that he believes that they will win. He's taking what he needs to from Kaido while everyone is distracted while he is here. And I do believe that there is a very real chance that he leaves the party early, or is at least giving himself that option. I know that y'all don't like it, but understand, totally ignoring this is just the same as shoving your head in the sand. Law's obviously a complicated figure, and we don't know exactly where he stands. Many people say he would never abandon Luffy because he owes Luffy for Doflamingo's defeat, but these people then conveniently forget that Luffy owed Law for saving him at Marineford. In my opinion, if Law wants to think this, they are square, and that assumes even that Law would act upon such a thing in the first place. Law can be cold and heartless. That's a real part of his character that you have to be savvy with. And then you have all the repeated foreshadowing that Law doesn't see this alliance in the same way Luffy does. People warning him about Law warning him about Law for that matter. And all the curious foreshadowing about the dangers of pirate alliances, questions such as, would your allies stay and fight or run away when the going gets rough? The going is getting rough, and the foreshadowing is his pirates' allies may not be staying to see what comes of it. And this is in addition to direct questions from many of the allies about Law himself. This is going to be an important part of the story. Oda has already developed Wano such that there is reason to question where Law and the Luffy alliance stand. That's going to be part of the story. He sticks with Luffy or betrays him. Oda is setting up some moment. But anyway, I just found the poneglyph scene curious because of it all. It's the first action Law has made, which is an overt red flag. In the scene itself, we even have a flashback to a conversation with Robin where Law asks about the meaning of D. She doesn't know, and he asks her, so the only way to find out is by reading the poneglyphs then. If Law is just going to be a subordinate to Luffy from here on, this is not relevant for him. If Law dies here fighting for Luffy, this is not relevant. Luffy will be following the poneglyphs. Law doesn't need to. That is, unless he's also positioning himself to find the truth. Unless he's also gunning to be king of the pirates and find the One Piece. Without Luffy. Meaning they are still rivals, they are still adversaries. The only situation that I can come up with different to this is that Law right now is intending on acting on his own. He's going to take a rubbing of the poneglyph secretly. But then events in Wano change, and the Straw Hats are forced to run away from Onigashima having not won the war, and so then Law still has a rubbing which she gives to them, for whatever reason. Here's the translation I read. Robin says, in other words, we need to take down the Yonko. Tra then responds, I don't believe it will be quite as simple as that though. Guys, this is a very curious line that isn't directly answered or in the scene itself. What does this mean? Does it mean that he doesn't believe taking the Yonko out is simple? Well, obviously that's true. Maybe he means that finding the road poneglyphs won't be that simple. Seems like that's not true, although we don't know where the fourth one is. Or maybe he means that Robin is discounting another enemy that the Straw Hats must contend with, Law himself. It's not as simple as defeating the Yonko because I'm here. You're not considering me. Either way, Law confirms that he is very interested in finding the One Piece. He either does this with the Straw Hats, essentially making himself Luffy's subordinate, or he does it on his own, which would make him their enemy. Those are literally the only two options here if this is what Law wants, and this chapter suggests that it is. I expect a ton of people to think with their fanboys in mind, and so these kinds of thoughts are dangerous to your daydreams. But as always, I'll say it anyways, and you can rage click dislike on the video because I clearly don't get it. I don't know Law like you know Law. But anyway, guys, this chapter was a beast. Every single scene sets up something potentially massive or something that we want. You guys know I'm all about that. Tama may be hinting at getting here with the help of the Revolutionary Army. In the same scene, I didn't even talk about this, Nami hinting Usopp is actually hurt, so it's a good thing that Marco is here. Yamato as a dragon, and Momonosuke as a critical in-game player. There's actually even more in this scene that I'll talk about in a video very soon. Sasaki versus Frankie, potential ties to Water 7. Kid versus Kaido, Law in the initial D, and set up for a potential betrayal. The Scabbard's seemingly total defeat imminent. That might be the tragedy that ends Act 3. Big Mom may be teaming up with Kaido, and finally something very solid, which may place the Revolutionary Army in Wano right now. I don't think that you can ask any more than that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I had to say about this chapter. As always, I'm curious as to what you guys think. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, subscribe if you want to be notified for my future. But anyway, guys, that's all I have to say today. This was, 11 out of 10. I already said it. But anyway, guys, that's all I had to say today. I've already said it. This was 11 out of 10. As always, I'm curious as to what you guys think, whether you noticed something from the chapter that I might have missed. Share your thoughts. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, subscribe if you want to be notified for my future content, and as always, guys, have a wonderful day.